In my last podcast, I spoke about mindset, and further to that, I want to talk about removing negative cues and triggers. I also spoke about conditioning before and how we have been conditioned at a very young age, and that we're consciously being conditioned and reinforced even now. Do you know 45% of our daily habits are triggered by cues from things that we've been conditioned in the past? Hi, my name is Inder, and welcome to my podcast. So, we have to build our willpower just like any other muscle, and that's the muscle that's going to keep us from doing those 45% of things that are automatic, that shuts off our brain, and we go on an automatic mode to really create the life that we want to create. For example, Dr. Baumeister, a psychologist and a researcher from FSU, has done research in this area, and his research helped understand the importance of developing awareness of the things that you want to change and then developing functional strategies to be able to change it. But a lot of that strategy has come down to minimizing your cues. You see, what happens is that you get tired. Just like if you're exercising all the time, you're going to get tired. What the research has shown is that someone who uses willpower over and over again, eventually they get tired and they just fall back to what's comfortable, even if what's comfortable is not what they truly want. So, yes, willpower works, but not for a long time, and not all are able to apply the will always for everything. And for it to work all the time, you need to exercise your will from an early age, which may not be possible for many of us. In various studies, willpower has been linked to overall life success. How? This is how. There was a marshmallow test for kids, and the way this test worked was that they gave the kids one marshmallow they could eat immediately if they wanted to, or they could wait until the researcher came back and they would get a few extra marshmallows. So, extra marshmallow if the kid is willing to wait, exercising their will. What they found is that a lot of kids just popped the first marshmallow, but a few kids actually waited. And then they did a longitudinal study. When they found out at the long term, the kids who were willing and were able to wait were drastically a lot successful in life. So, this is why you want to build your willpower muscle. However, for adults, we can add something called reason. An important part of that reason is that you need to be able to visualize and project into the future the benefits you're going to get experiencing the satisfaction of your choice. Because if your mind sees it and your mind can get excited about it, then it's going to have a reason to change your cues, your triggers, your patterns of falling back and slouching. The tool of visualizing is very powerful. You can use it to change a certain setting that you do or visualize yourself not doing that. Like, even in a conversation that you have with somebody and you tend to argue with, You can visualize yourself having a pleasant conversation with them. You can visualize yourself not reacting because your mind is going to look at that and then think that maybe that cue is wrong. Maybe that trigger is wrong. Maybe it doesn't have to react that way. So the more you do that, the more the brain can create a new story. The more you can identify with that story, the more you can make that story real. Now, there is an underlying part to this, which is developing self trust. Self trust is the key because if you don't trust yourself to make the right choices, then you're not even going to try. If you think that you're going to fail, why would you even put yourself in your position to try? Our brain naturally tries to protect us. Our brain naturally wants us to be right. And if we think we're going to be a failure, our brain is going to help us be a failure. You may ask, how do you do that? So you have to choose a simple behavior at first that you want to start changing towards your new story. And that as you start doing that simple behavior over and over again, you start building confidence and then start snowballing. Because it is necessary, and this increases your confidence and increases that evidence that the brain has that you have the willpower and that you can change it. Don't try to willpower of something that is drastically big. That's setting up yourself to failure. Try to willpower in small things, smaller things that are going to help you show your brain that you have the evidence, that you have a choice, and that you are capable and willing to choose the things that you want. That you are capable of taking your brain out of the automatic mode and making a conscious decision on something new that you want to create. So, create your own cues, create your own triggers. Develop awareness of the cues and triggers that you currently have. Develop a big enough reason why and start working on those strategies to eliminate those to create a new environment for yourself so that you can create the story that's going to move you forward and that's going to bring you the happiness that you always wanted. And if you think you need a little more help, a little more push, reach out to your nearest life coach, Indersingh. And that's all, my folks.